how can the people support you guys if you ain't taking your shit seriously? How do you expect someone to take you seriously if you ain't even taking yourself seriously? The first time I just got fed up and I told my dad, I'm like, I smoke weed. You know, and the man was just like, it wasn't even a performance. It was like you're being you're ad-libbing your own songs. You're just the ad-lib.
Wow.
You know, and I'm like, yeah. Coke boys, yeah. I'm just like, you know, and I'm like, this is realistically how I actually figured out doing shows. And it's crazy because I figured this out when I was like 16, 17. And that same principle that I've carried on through these years has put me in a position where now I'm running a company. We'll talk about that later. Number one, don't belittle any gig. You know, especially if you're new, up and coming, take as many opportunities as you can. Hit up as many people as you can. Yes. If you see something going on, even if it's an open mic, take that opportunity to go and just network.
What up, Afrodiaspo podcast family? Well, we back with another sensational episode, man. We're here, we're live with another great guest, a good episode we store for you tonight, man. But before that, you know the drill, man. We're gonna dive into the hot list of the week. We got Major on my right side here, man. He's about to go into it, man. What's up, Major? Tell me something,
What's
man.
up, BK?
Yes, sir.
The hot list.
There you go.
This book, Master Your Mortgage. I don't know. I don't have a house, but you know, I feel like people should really learn how to understand their mortgages.
We dive into that really good, man.
Because regardless of what you're doing, you're gonna need somewhere to sleep.
Yeah.
So you need to know about this.
Especially now, yeah, in this marketing business, we gotta know about that, man.
Yeah.
That was really great.
The other thing that we have on the list, your song, which is out already.
Forever's out, man.
Yeah.
Once again, keeps streaming forever. Amazing project I had with
that song is really going up, huh?
It's really blowing.
So many people are
a lot
really
of people came up with the good feedbacks. I was like, should I be singing more now? Is that my thing, or should I stick on rapping?
Should we tell them that we are organizing a music video shooting?
Oh man, see, we're actually working on the music video. It's not a problem, man, because people are gonna expect the music video for that.
Cool.
So Forever music video is coming out very, very soon. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Such a good project.
Yeah.
And a great singer in it, featuring Savannah. Shout out to Savannah. And Major obviously is killing with the beat. This guy came up with a beat on spot right away. Once I made that song, right away I knew that was it. That was it.
Thanks.
So Forever's out, man. Keep streaming it, and stay tuned for the music video coming up soon.
Cool. I will also remind other people who, even though you don't want to come to the show, you just send us your ideas. You know, let us know what we can talk about here.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're always welcoming too, like I said, man. We're always welcoming. If you want to come out here, get your ideas, you know where to be, man. Afrodiaspo podcast right here, man.
I think that's it, yeah.
And then your song is coming up too this week.
My song is coming up. You know, I was trying to stay away from talking about my music myself.
Why? I gotta hear it.
Yeah, the reason why I do that is I'm a music producer, and I want people to know me as a music producer. You know, and I play piano. That's the thing. And
you're a low-key artist.
The music I make is just to promote myself. Mostly. That's what
well, I think you're an incredible musician, Major. That's coming from me. I think you're incredible, man. You do your thing. And every song you drop is always a hit, man. So it's not bad to announce it. If you don't announce it, I'll announce it for you. How about that?
Do it. Go for it. Go for it.
Hey, man, thanks, without no further ado, man, we're going to introduce you guys for tonight's guest, man. This guy, I'm telling you guys, when I tell you guys, this guy is incredible. He's incredible, man. He is an R&B, he's a rapper, he's a hip-hop man. He does it all, man. We're introducing guys. SAMSON Brown is in the building. SAMSON, what's up, man?
Let's go.
You ready?
Bro, we back.
Thank you for being out here, man. It's been a long time I haven't seen you.
Yeah, it's been crazy. How things been?
Things been pretty all right, man. How do you think? How you like the setup in
This
here,
is cool.
man?
This is cool.
We wanted to bring you out here.
We're taking. We're going up. We're going up as we should be, yo.
We have to take a little something up, man.
I feel it.
And it's really obviously very, very glad to have you here, man.
Appreciate it.
Because we want to dive into your music. We know how incredible you are, man. Everything you do out there, we see it, man. We salute you for that. Keep pushing it, brother. Man, what you been up to so far, man?
What I've been up to, yo, honestly, trying to do a lot more traveling. Like I was telling you earlier, trying to like pick up on more vibes, pick up on more cultures and things like that.
Yeah.
Because definitely, moving out of your hometown and things like that is just the first step. Exploring the world is like takes you to step like 50, when it comes on this journey to music. So, trying to absorb as many cultures, working on so many different projects and things like that. I'm just trying to put out as much music, as much visuals, as much Samson Brown as the world can take.
They ain't ready for that, man.
I'm telling you.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's really good. Where was the last place you been?
Last place that I was at was LA. So yeah, I've been back and forth. I've been back and forth. I've been back and forth there.
Yeah, I want to make sure everybody listens to it.
Yeah, listen up. Yeah,
you can pull it your way.
You can go with it too if you want. You can come back with it.
That's why it's mobile, right?
I love
you
it.
can go down with it.
21st century, we here.
You know what I'm saying? Where you go, it goes. Where you go, it goes.
There's only one thing you can't do with it. You rappers like to do microphones like that. You can't do that. Just don't do that one.
When they're feeling it, man.
LA, bro. Like LA, I love it down there. I went there for the first time, I think about 2 years ago now, or a year and a half ago, and just immediately vibes, like studios down there are different. The way they're understanding music is different.
Yeah.
The market is different, right? So in order as a Canadian, living out here, to enter into that market, you can't do it. Like everything is accessible online, but you can't do it online. You have to go down there and make those networking connections. Let the city be known that, or let the people know that, this guy is actually really down to pull up, So yeah.
That's amazing, man. I feel like we talked about it with Major too. Like when you go to a different, for an artist, I feel like it's a very good way to expose yourself.
Of course,
man.
of course.
Especially if you touch down to a different country and talk about who you are and how, as they see you, you're doing your thing too. That's a very good way to.
That what means being a professional.
Yeah, exactly.
Being able to travel with your career, it means there's nothing left behind. You go with everything.
Yeah, right.
That's our next step right there. That's our next step right there, man.
That's what it is, yeah.
Well, I'm very excited for you, man. I'm obviously, like you said, there's a lot of upcoming projects coming up, so anytime you say that, it's always gonna be a fire thing.
That's what we're here for.
There's no jokes with Samson, bro. There's no playing around with him. But hey, man, that's what we're here for. Like I mentioned, Samson's obviously a very, very talented musician here in Vancouver. Trying to expand everywhere. But I personally wanted to get to know you from the beginning of your career, man, because I want to know where you grew up, what influenced you to get into the music industry, and how did you start to get started with that? Let's go start. Let's start from there.
That's interesting, and it's always interesting for me to answer this question to different people, alone, because it's like everyone that I've known sees my career starting at different points in my life, right? But for me, I could say just 13, I was in Edmonton, I was surrounded by a lot of people who were intrigued with music and, vibe with music. Now, the crazy thing, it was barely rap. It was more like pop, Nickelback, 3 Days Grace, Linkin Park. So I was listening to a lot of those types of music, like on the way to school on the bus, they'd be playing Linkin Park in the end, we'd be going crazy. And then one day I heard In the End by Jay-Z. And I was like, okay, I see what's going on here. I see, that was actually my first time of noticing a blend between genres, like making two separate genres work together, right?
Yeah.
But realistically, when I was 13, I started at home. I had a Windows computer. You know, I had a few friends that told me, yo, if you download some programs, you could start recording. So I downloaded this program, Mixcraft, right?
And I remember that. I know that. The green thing.
Yeah, the green thing, you know, because it was that or Audacity. And I was just like, Audacity seemed too complicated. So I'm like, let me try Mixcraft, right? And I was like, fuck, I need a mic. So I ended up having one of my friends used to have GarageBand, and he had the mic from the GarageBand. So I was like, okay, let me grab your mic, you know, plugged it in, put a cloth over the mic like a you know, spit filter type of thing.
Wow.
And, you know, just went to work. And, you know, it was crazy because at that time I had friends in Vancouver. So, and it was friends that realistically, like, I met a minute ago, but it was more we reconnected through Facebook and things like that, right?
Wow.
So what ended up happening was I was sending music to them, they're sending music to me, and one day they're like, yo, you should release a tape. So I put out this tape on SoundCloud, you know, the good SoundCloud days.
Yeah.
And it was interesting to me to have this body of work out there. I was like, okay, so this is how it feels to be an artist. Okay, you know, let's get it. You know, being inspired by like Much Music videos, you know, MTV and stuff like that. I was very motivated. I saw, you know, I saw the potential of actually taking this somewhere, not just being like a basement rapper, a bedroom rapper, so to speak, right? So through that, I started meeting people who are also like the same type of thing that I did in terms of music, and it actually encouraged me because a lot of the people that I surrounded myself with were better than me, like ahead of their time type of thing, right? And they always encouraged me, like, yo, you could do, like, keep going. It's even funny because one of my BC friends last year, 2 years ago, I did a show in Kamloops, right? And he used to be in Vancouver, moved down to Kamloops, a good friend of mine, Malcolm. I was like, yo, I'm performing, you got to pull up on me. It's been like a few years since I seen him, right? So he pulled up, and one of the first things he said to me, he's like, boy, you crazy. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, bro, you used to be so ass, but like now you like crazy. Like you actually making records. And I was like, why didn't you tell me that before? And he's like, look, where you at now? Imagine if I told you that, you may have quit or some shit, you know? So it's like there's a difference between saying someone's like garbage and just writing them off, and then there's a difference between saying, yo, you can work on this, keep hitting this, keep hitting that, you know? So honestly, again, experience since 13, you know, 23, I guess, was when things actually like got more serious, where I was okay, I'm going to put it on like Spotify and things like that, start marketing, start getting a team and things like that. I mean, I was putting it on since like 18, but 21, 22 is when I was like, okay, I'm gonna stop with the SoundCloud. Let's get more serious because I want to look more serious in the industry, right? That is really so good. That's wow.
Well, it's good to know, man, because I was always curious, man, because I see you, you know, you're doing your thing, coming up with releases. I didn't know how you started, but we all know we all start from somewhere, right? And then how things can be really crazy in the beginning, but it's always like when you're starting to love music, you don't dive in it right away. Be like, yo, I got this, right? You start as a joke, because I was there to start as a joke, but it grew to something really, really big.
Well, for me, that's the thing. The crazy thing, it was never really a joke for me. You know, even when I was a kid, I felt like this seriousness, and the reason why I felt the seriousness is because my inspiration, Tupac. You know, there would be times like literally after school, I'd go to the library just to get access to the computer to watch documentaries on Tupac's resurrection, listening to the music, seeing the message. And I was like, as I was reviewing everything, I was like, man, what this guy is saying, there's a lot of sense to it. And then at that same time, I was analyzing things that were happening in the world. I'm like, damn, we really in a messed up place. And people are really afraid to talk about this stuff, you know? Like, And it's like, if no one's going to talk about it, it's just going to keep getting worse, right? So that was truly my biggest motivation to make music. And a lot of the content at first was talking about world issues, like just straight, straight world issues that were real. And later on in my career, I wanted to embody that. And so that's why I even put Real Samson Brown, because, I had my first song, The Real.
So you had the fake first, and you went to the real?
No, it's not the fake.
now we're experiencing the real.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like, at that time, I was seeing so much fakery, right? Cool. I was making music about, certain political issues, certain race issues. And then I had my homies rap about drugs, women, sleeping, sex, and these things, I was like, it was just like that, like these things, it gets so repetitive. Cool. And there's no substance to this.
Oh, yes.
That's sure. It was crazy because they were very, very talented people, but they were just rapping about these things, and eventually they fell off because people get tired of hearing those things, right? So I figured it out early on. I'm like, okay, people like to hear real stuff. Let me just make that about my brand, be the full embodiment of that and push it forward. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then man, I gotta rebrand, And I dropped The Real with a music video, and it just took off. And like listening to now, it's garbage, right? It's not even that it's garbage, but it's just I've grown so much, But you could tell that was very much the spark, That was very much the spark. Yeah.
PK, what I like about Samson?
Yeah.
When we talk about the real, and the reason why I ask if there's the fake too, there was the fake, because the first time you walk into this studio, I really underestimated you. Because I was like, okay, it's another day. Again, we're going to hear some people rapping out of the beat, hip hop again, until you sat on the microphone, man, and then I was blew up.
He told me that too.
Wow. Wow.
Oh yeah, because you were there, but you left. Oh yeah.
He left, and we stayed in the room, blown away by the type of rap.
It's crazy because that actually motivated me, because I remember one time I came to the studio and Major's telling me a story about how you recorded. You recorded one song? Is it, or you recorded the take of a live?
It was a live, man.
Yeah. You came out there, you did one thing on a one take.
We also did the recording, remember?
Yeah.
It wasn't there, we did it, but that was later after.
You see,
after we done that, the live was
because you left him speechless. He was like, man, this guy came out here and spit in the one take. I didn't even have to do anything. 25 minutes, everything is done. I'm like, damn, Major, okay. So now he's gonna push me even more now, because I was like, respect, man.
Yeah. When the beat started, I was asking him in the headphone, is this the beat? He's like, just put whatever it is there. No, just flow. I was like, come on, man. You just want to take our time for no reason. Because those rappers who
come there, I'm like, come on, man.
Bro, I was blown with the level of perfection in his rap.
No, I appreciate that. Because I'm not even going to lie, that was my first time even going at doing that live like that. It was very much, I was like, I got to do this. Let's just do it, That's the thing. You got to take the leap. You never know what's at the bottom. Might 100%. Be a trampoline. You go and bounce,
100%. Yeah. That's really crazy, man.
But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I know we're still going to go deeper into the whatever we're doing here. If you were to be taken back to the early time that you started, what do you think you could correct that now,
Ooh, that's interesting. If I could go back and say, man, realistically, it's hard for me to say I would change anything, because if I did change anything, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now, right? But at the same time, I would say I think I would invest more into actually education around music, in terms of I have this one friend who came from Ghana recently, right? First time in Canada. and he came. He's like blown in Ghana, really high numbers, but he still wanted to learn.
Yeah.
So he came here.
Sorry, bro, but just on the mic, man. Because
No worries. So he came. Yeah, he came from Ghana, and he was like, "Yo, I want to go to the School of Rock." So I was like looking at him. I'm like, "Bro, you're an Afrobeats artist trying to go to the School of Rock. I don't think it's matching up." And then some few weeks went by. He went to the school and he's been doing some vocal training and things like that, right? For me, a lot of the vocal training is like, I work with AMEG down in Miami and Toronto. They help me with a lot of things. That's something that has happened from like 2012 progressing to now, right? He going to school, within 2 weeks of going to school, his vocals just improved. Like, he can hit harmonies that like before he couldn't even hit. His voice is so much smoother. The songs are just coming out so much clearer. If there's two things as an artist, he even told me, and it's a fact. You need to know music production and you need to know vocals.
100%.
If you're able to know music production, you don't need to like make beats all the time. You just need to know the basic understandings of that. Yeah. If you know that shit, oh man, it's gonna take you far away. And if I knew that shit, man, we'd be in LA right now.
Wow. No, you got a point right there, man. Because I feel like that's obviously a lot of artists these days. They don't really take those things seriously, and that's how things start to fade.
Yeah.
But if you're really invested in that a lot, I had a chance to. Major told me a lot about those stuff because I was like, before I was like, when I told you I started as a joke, it's because I actually started as a joke. I was like, so we're just fooling around, man. It's all good.
Just do it.
I just do it, man. It's how fun. Oh yeah, I made some songs track until you started telling me some real stuff about you really have to invest into these things, man. Like, because it's not only for now, it's like after the future. So
it's like it makes it takes it from a hobby to a career, right? Like, if you want to be a doctor, you're going to go to school. Then ain't no one just going, picking up tools saying, I'm about to do surgery, So that's definitely how I see it. And I feel like for the longest time, just because of my uncertainty, right? Because going into music is a difficult thing, right? It's definitely one of the riskier jobs. Like, my dad called me the other day, and we were just talking about like my friend who's come to Canada, and he was asking me. He's like, "Oh, he went to school. What is he going to school for?" And I'm like, "Music." And he's like, "Oh, they don't need musicians in Canada. They need doctors. They need nurses. He should go to school to be a nurse."
No, but that's what I wanted to ask you too. I was like, how did your parents take that? Because
parents, it was a very difficult thing for me. So a little bit background in my life. Music has definitely, up until recently, has always been like a secondary thing, right? I'm a pretty versatile person when it comes to like a lot of things. My first job when I was 15, I was working at Mr. Lube, right? Mr. Lube, yeah, doing oil changes, worked there for like 2-3 years. Yeah.
Oh man, for real?
Yeah, Mr. Lube. After that, went to Cal Tire, then Ford, stayed in the like tire mechanic industry for a bit.
Oh, so you do mechanic too?
Yeah, I'm very, very familiar with that. After that, went into electrical, and I went to school for electrical and things, but it wasn't really a passion. And actually, it was during my time in school for electrical that I realized there was one day I was working on an apartment, a new apartment, just putting things together. Actually, just putting a plug together. And I was putting a plug together, and I was listening to my own music, and I'm like, man, what am I doing here? Like, this is not making sense to me. Like, I could actually, I think I could take this to the next level if I take more time into it, right? So I quit my job, started getting more into music and things like that. At the same time, financially, it was hard to just do that, right? So I ended up going back to work. I did landscaping and things. And then...
you did everything. Man.
Yeah, I did landscaping, did moving. I worked in a restaurant for a bit. I was working on a restaurant for like 2 years. And then I did road construction. And with road construction, I was working on like the Anthony Hyundai on in Edmonton and the Yellowhead, and I was doing so much LOA, so getting so much LOA, living allowance, and I was getting paid so good, but I was always out of town, so I wasn't spending money, right? So what ended up happening, I saved up a bunch of money, and shortly after I got into an accident. So I got into an accident, and then a few years after
car
that,
accident, or
yeah, I got into a car accident. I was just going down the road, and someone was coming out of like a complex, but they're like they floored it coming out of the complex. So they hit me at like 80.
Were you the driver?
I was the driver. Yeah. So they hit me, T-boned me, and I went flying. It was a crazy thing. So I took some time off from work, and then obviously insurance came through, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna take, like, I took 5 years off. Yeah, 5 years off from working.
5 years
just to work. 4 or 5 years just to work on my music and move to Vancouver and do certain
So you
things.
got locked in the house to work on your music,
exactly.
That worked out, man.
Yeah, you know, so yeah, there's some challenges, but definitely got to where we needed to be, you know.
Because for sure, man, for sure. Because going through that, I'm assuming it's pretty serious, man. If you get T-bone like that, that's the most challenging thing. Because now you gotta have, obviously, I dealt with like a lot of PTSD when all these things happened to me. Like, so that's why I'm imagining it must be pretty challenging going through that. Like,
but answering your question, so throughout that, the reason why I was getting jobs, or not even the reason why, but one of the reasons was my dad. Like, he came to Canada in the 60s, right? So his understanding of the world is very much like, you need to go to school, you need to get a degree. If you get a degree, then you're secured. You'll be able to at least have a certain type of paying job and things like that, right? And it made sense. He was also a person who's done a lot of different jobs in his life, right? So it was very, very hard for me to tell him that I was doing music. Even though I was recording in my bedroom, he didn't really see it as a career like that, right? It wasn't until like maybe 2016, 2018, where I had some friends come over and tell my dad, oh, your son's a musician. And so my dad's reaction was just like, what? Like, a musician? He said, yeah, he's very, very talented. Like, he opens up for people and things like that. And, you know, I think to this day, it's still something that it's hard for them to wrap their head around because, you know, it's not a 9-to-5 job, right? It's not a job where you can go to university and get a degree and then, you know, have all these opportunities, right? I went to electrical school mainly for him. You know, it wasn't something school after high school, because school I was very good at it, but because my focus wasn't there, it caused me to lack in certain areas, right? And for that, my dad was always frustrated because he's like, you're just shooting yourself in the foot. You're not able to, if you don't acquire this knowledge in school, you're not going to be able to excel in life. So that changed me to be like, okay, I'm going to prove him wrong. So that's why I went into mechanics. That's why I went into landscaping. I did all these things to prove that, like, no, you don't have to go to school. You can acquire that knowledge. Electrical obviously had to go to school, right? But then, after in electrical school, I was just like, man, when am I going to start living for me? You know?
Facts.
I can't live for my dad. Realistically, I love my dad, but I need to be happy in my own way, you know? And I want to get this money and prove to him that, yo, this shit could be profitable. It's not everyone that's going to make it, but I want to show him that I can make it, you know? So that's
You got to believe it. You believe in yourself, man. That's the most important thing, too. Because without that, you can't move anywhere.
Can't do anything.
You know? Do you think what do you think was the only reason why they didn't really support you, just because they thought it's not the real job, or was it something behind that as well?
No, I mean, like, look at hip hop culture, right? Like, hip hop culture is very much like, you know, drugs, gangsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
That's what
I
I'm
remember
saying.
the first time.
Are afraid of it.
Yeah, you know, I remember the first time I just got fed up and I told my dad, I'm like, I smoke weed. you know. And he was just like looking at me like, you know, like I'm doing crack cocaine, and I was like, listen, I'm not abusing it the way that you're thinking. I smoke weed because I'm a naturally very anxious person. You know, things tend to bother me more easily than the regular person. Not even bother me, but I question a lot of things, right? So when I smoke weed, when I get on my vibe,
Calms you down.
it just it levels me out. It doesn't make me like I'm passing out on the couch and things like that. No, I'm just like, you know, I'm actually more focused. I'm like, okay, I can have these 10 things to do. Let's do it. Otherwise, you know, it's the ADHD kicks in and I'm doing 5 minutes of that, 5 minutes of that, 10 minutes of that. Oh, I didn't complete anything, but I did all this work, you know? So, yeah.
Man, I got a lot of questions, but I want to go to Major. What you guys say about that, Major? Do you have anything to add up to that?
If we were to name this show, how to get booked for live shows as an artist, what advice would you give to the people? How can we make this real, like a lesson for people who want to be booked? Because I read that into your bio. And not only that, I've seen your stuff that you're posting on Instagram every time. Oh, I'm playing somewhere. I'm playing somewhere. I'm like, this guy, where do you go, man? Can you call us too? Maybe give us some tips so we can know how to get booked.
I mean, like, so I think back to like when I first got booked as an artist, or when I first did my first show, right? My first show was this pretty much scam of like pay to play, kind of like, you know, hey, we have this showcase coming through to Edmonton. You can perform, but you have to sell this amount of tickets. So you should sell some tickets, right? Cool. Now, me being a new artist, and I'm not gonna lie, like, new artists should take advantage of those opportunities because it is a skill, right? So they sent in my thing. They're like, okay, you can perform. Here are the tickets. If you sell the most, then you'll get a performing slot. If you don't sell, then lesser, right? Yeah. So that was my first of like, okay, I need to start thinking about branding myself, how I'm going to get my friends to come to, because at that time I was in school, high school, right? Yeah. So it's like, how do I get my friends to come, right? So I ended up getting only like 3 people, my schoolmates, these 3 lovely ladies, you know, and because of the fact that I didn't sell that many tickets, I ended up being the last performer, right? Oh, wow. So I was kind of like a little bit cheesed, but whatever. My friends stayed to the last. Everyone was gone except for my 3 friends from school. So I was like, you know what? They're here. I killed my performance. I ended up actually scoring the best out of all the artists that performed. Wow. And so for me, I realized, I was like, okay, obviously I want to do this more. So when it comes to artists trying to get booked for shows, there's 3 things. Number 1, don't belittle any gig. You know, especially if you're new, up and coming, take as many opportunities as you can. Hit up as many people as you can. Yes. If you see something going on, even if it's an open mic, take that opportunity to go and just network. Networking is number 1, right? For sure. Number 2 is social presence. You have to have a good social presence. People want to see, they want to see a character. They want to see the person, so it makes it more easier for them to be like, oh, this guy, he's got a good following. Oh, man, he's consistently posting. Maybe I could consider him for a show, right?
Cool.
Number 3 is having good music, right? You're not going, I mean, there's been shows where I've been to where artists have performed and the music isn't great, but it's because of networking things. And again, networking, going back to number 1, networking is such a powerful tool, you know? Just going out to events, that's the other thing. Going out to events would be number 4. Check out as many local events in your community, you know, go see what's happening in the community, go support. And if people see you consistently coming up, showing up, they're going to be intrigued by you just by default, you know? If you let them know, hey, I'm an artist, or they even start following you and see that you're an artist, eventually they're going to be like, yo, come out and perform. And if you surprise them, then that takes it to a new level, right?
Wow.
Very good.
Yeah.
Do you how do you make sure people remember you? You know, we can meet today.
Yeah.
And you won't remember me, you know? Even though I explained to you. But how do you make sure they stay with you? You know, do you carry business cards or anything?
Back in those days, I had. Back when I first, I had business cards. The issue with business cards is it ends up being left in the wallet for so many years.
Exactly,
you give it
that's
to
something.
someone. I mean, like, to think about that, it's just like,
You just follow them online on Instagram, and then they follow you back. And
but it's like, again, it's how you carry yourself as a person, number one, too, right? If you want to, being an artist, you see like Justin Bieber, you see Kanye West. Kanye West is the perfect example. Kanye West could come in here right now dressing in whatever outfit that he is, and he's going to leave. And you're going to remember that guy as the guy who wore the face mask who did. So, like, those types of things, too. Having a good wardrobe, you know, something that's like stands out to you, like taking those times to analyze, okay, what's everyone wearing? What's the vibe? You know, back when white pants weren't even a vibe, I was wearing white pants in school. People would be laughing at me like, oh, and I look goofy wearing white pants, but I stuck out, right?
That's so true.
You know, I put blonde in my hair. That's something I never, prior to high school, I never braided my hair. I always carried an afro, but I decided as a business, I was like, yo, I need to brand myself. A lot of these guys are doing dreads, twists. Let me put some blonde in my hair so that when people see, oh, that's the guy that has blonde. Oh, he makes music,
That's
you know?
dope.
So, yeah.
No, man, that's exactly what I like about you, man, because you, obviously, you know, everything Samson just said, 100% true, because 100% true, and I feel like a lot of young, you know, artists out there, especially in Vancouver, they just, I feel like they don't do that often just because there's less gigs, you know, here and there, or if there's some people don't show up like you say, and then now they start discouraging themselves, be like, but it's very true.
You want to know a hack though?
Y'all want to know a hack?
You want to know a hack? This is something. So this is realistically how I actually figured out doing shows. And it's crazy because I figured this out when I was like 16, 17. And that same principle that I've carried on through these years has put me in a position where now I'm running a company. We'll talk about that later. Exactly. But when I was younger, getting booked for shows was hard. So what I decided to do was, instead of going to these guys and begging them to put me on a show, why don't I just make a show? So what I ended up doing was hitting up all the local rappers in Edmonton, anyone who was doing some shit, and I'm like, yo, I'm organizing this show. At that time, it was Tribute, rest in peace, Tribute. Tribute Lounge in Edmonton is like, back in the day, it was the poppin' hip hop club. Like when hip hop, before Afrobeats, when hip hop was at its prime, this place was popping. People were popping bottles. So I got in, you know, I messaged the owner. I don't even remember how I went about it, but I was like, okay, there's this club. Let me hit them up. They're like, yo, I think I hit them up to do an event on one of their lesser, busier nights, right? So they're like, yeah, you know, I was bringing some to them. I was like, okay, I have this and this and this artist. These three artists are like killing it in the game. These guys are coming up, and then there's gonna be me, where I think we can pull a good crowd, you know? So my first show was there. I had like 6, 7 rappers. We brought like, I think like maybe like 80 people, 70 people on an off day, and it was crazy. You know, people were vibing. But what ended up happening was all those artists that I met, their fans came through. At that time, I didn't really have fans. Like, it was just like 1, 2 people here. But that moment, after I performed, their friends became mine. They started following me. They started fucking with me. We started, you know, talking, going out, doing certain things, right? And I slowly realized, I'm like, okay, so I did another performance, brought different artists out, you know? And then other artists even started saying, "Oh, this guy is smart. Let's do the same thing and even bring him out." So they were including me. They were doing the same concept I was doing, and not doing it in a way that was stealing from me because they always included me.
Yeah.
So I was just constantly getting this boost until one day they're like, "Yo, you're the king of Edmonton." I'm like, "How?"
Just for the grind you do, man.
You know, like that's so. Putting on shows, if you're capable, if you have a good enough if you make the right connections, network with the right people, and network with local artists. Local artists, that's a big thing. If you ain't supporting the local artists ain't gonna support you.
Wow.
This is exactly why we brought you here, because I feel like you are the perfect person to say about this, because your journey, you've gone through all that to be where you are right now. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people need that, man. A lot of local artists here today, they need that. Because I go here and there. You know, I hear stories about, it's okay, man. You know, people don't show up, man. Or like people didn't buy the tickets to come. You know, and then they just let it go down. Like, it's okay, whatever, man. But it's about having the thing that you point out the most that really got me is about having a character. That I feel like is a main thing that people need to know, because that leaves people knowing about you. Like Samson Brown is Samson Brown. Now people say that's why I like him, because you create your own character. You putting a blonde in your hair, you know, all that stuff. So that's really good. But then I wanted to ask you also about you bring back to the when you say you have a lot of issues when you have to be focused, you know, you pick about everything. How was it for you performing for the first times? How did you progress with? Have you ever been a performer?
I mean, like, I guess as an artist, you got to be a performer,
Yeah,
right?
but you got to build it up too.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, the first time I performed, like I said, you know, it was my three schoolmates, and I was like, man, I got to give them my all. So, you know, to me, that's the thing. Even today, I'm taking some initiative to be a better performer. Because I ain't even there, right? Like, I want to be, like, on a burner boy, like, playing with live 100%. Bands, like, no backup type of vibe, you know? And it's definitely something that takes practice. You know, I know one good friend of mine, TK Cabral in Edmonton. He was the first artist that I seen had a show, and before his show, you know, rent out a space and do rehearsals. You know, and I was a part of one of those shows, and I did the rehearsal, and I was like, man, why aren't a lot of artists rehearsing before they, you know, perform? And it's crazy. A lot of artists don't rehearse before they perform. They just have the backing. They come and they're rapping. And some of the times they forgot their own words. They're not even rapping. They're just letting the beat. They're dancing around on the stage, you know, and it's not inducive. People aren't, I've gone to a lot of performance, and the performance that hits are the ones like the other day I went to the Marley Brothers show. And I was sitting there, I'm like, wow, these guys have a voice. Yeah. These guys really know what they're doing. Bob Marley would be proud. Like, you know, like, and that's a whole different level. That's a whole different level than showing up in the club and being like, we're popping bottles, you know? Like,
DJ, turn up the music.
Bring it up. No, and it's crazy because, like, no disrespect. Like, I've seen performances, like, for example, UBC a few years ago. They brought French Montana, right? And I remember because he came out the car, and we locked eyes, and I was like, okay, he sees me. I this is gonna be lit. I'm so excited for the performance. And then he went on stage, and the man was just like, it wasn't even a performance. It was like you're being you're ad-libbing your own songs. You're just the ad-lib. Wow. You know, and I'm like, Coke boys, I'm just like, you know, and I'm like, nah, this ain't. And I talked to a lot of people. They're like, this ain't a performance. But then you go,
you're real like that. It's really hard. This ain't no performance.
Yeah, that, you know, you go to Burner Boy.
It's really hard.
I remember I saw Burner Boy P&E, and I was looking, and I'm like, wow,
bro, I was there that day, man. Like, I right away I came to tell Mitch, I'm like, I went there to learn, man.
You have
to. And the way you see them perform, you just be like, that's how you want to get to that level. Because now you're performing.
That's
Now you're doing something.
So see, something that, again, going back to his earlier question, he's like, oh, if I were to go back in the past to change something to make me as a better artist, one thing would be going to shows, right? When I was younger, I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't even that I didn't want to. I just didn't have the luxury to go to as many performances as now that I'm able to, right? But going to shows is very, very essential to see how other artists work, you know? I had this one friend that once told me something, and it stuck with me for a long time till I realized that it's wrong. And he was like, why would I spend money to go see another artist perform as an artist? And for the longest time, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But then I realized is, why wouldn't you spend money to go see an artist perform?
It's not,
you know, that's
no, 100%.
you know, and it's crazy. So that's definitely an essential. You know, if I had the budget back then and I could have, man, even Taylor Swift, I'm not gonna lie, I would go to that show. Just to learn something, you know? Just to learn something. Because she doing it. She beating Drake right now, so obviously something's working.
I have a question for you.
That's so true.
You know, every time I meet the new artist, like for the first time I meet somebody, I always trying to know them, you know, deeply, like understanding what this guy is doing. Because I was blown out when you did that performance here. And I went back, I was like, okay, I gotta get something to show BK and Ossie when they come in the studio. And I went to your Instagram and I saw this organization, like, you know, like this beauty, you know, there's a way your Instagram is kind of presented, which proves that you are really an artist. So my question is, do you have a team that works behind you, or is just one man who's doing all this thing?
You know, the craziest thing is, it is like, it's one man. It is me, but I can't also say it's me because I'm inspired by so many different people, right?
That's good.
Coming to Vancouver, I met through, it was crazy. So I had a cameraman in Edmonton who did a lot of my photos, Booklands, really dope guy, and he ended up moving to Vancouver. So he moved to Vancouver, and I was seeing instantly, like, he was going around doing things. His portfolio was just getting so much bigger. So I was like, okay, let me move down and connect with him. So he introduced me to my, to this day, mentor, Jarrett Lopez. And he's an interesting guy because he's very, very, he understands social media very, very well.
Cool.
So by learning from him, and, you know, at that point, I wasn't verified. He was verified. He had like 40K on Instagram. His pictures were getting like 1,000 likes and things like that. I'm like, yo, how are you doing this? And he's like, bro, it's networking. Again, people like to see what they're buying into. And if you go to a lot of these events, you put yourself out there, you put the brand out there. Eventually, it's just going to be such a repeat in their head that they're going to have to follow. So realistically, the combination of seeing what people, like, comparing other people's Instagram, seeing how their flow of things is, and kind of replicating it but making it my own is kind of how, you know, my Instagram grew up. And realistically, what had happened was there was a point in time where I was growing my Instagram page, right? And I had this one photographer that some issues happened, and they did a lot of free content for me for some years, and we ran into some issues, and then I got to a place where we couldn't resolve it, so they asked me to take the photos down. Now, me being stubborn, I was like, you know, a lot of the times the photos would be like, yeah, you know, hey, Sam, there's this photo concept I'm trying to, do you want to model for me? And I'd be like, yeah, you know, and she sent me the photos, I post, you know, but there was a point where I stopped tagging them, right? And it wasn't even like I stopped, but it was like a forgetful thing because I was just managing so much at the time, right? And that escalated to a situation. So I had the photos up. They didn't want me to have it up, so they reported all of my photos. To this day, I have, it's like report on my email. So what ended up happening is if you report someone that many times, especially for copyright infringement, because realistically, she took the photos, but I still felt like it was my property because she gave me all the files, right? She reported all my things. My account got deleted, blocked. And at that point, I was like 5,000, 3,000 followers, spent like 3 years building that. Connections were just, everything was just gone. And I remember, because it was one of those times that I was working out on the highway, and I just felt devastated. So it put me in this mode. I was like, nah, I can't let them win. I can't let them win. I need to even prove to myself that I'm a good artist and that I'm a reputable brand that regardless of what happens, people will keep coming back to. So created a new Instagram, started following people, started messaging people, started putting out content. And it was crazy because it took me 3 years to build 5,000 followers and took me less than 2 years to build 10,000 followers, just with the consistency of hitting people up and networking, going to as many events, you know.
It's a grind, man.
You know, and it was hard, bro. It was really hard. You know, it took a lot of my time and, you know, time that I can't get back. But the results proved to me that, yes, I'm supposed to be in this industry. I'm gonna keep giving the people what they want, and hopefully they keep following me, and it keeps growing.
Wow, Samson, I feel like you shouldn't be here.
You want to take it all?
I think I should just be here alone because I got a lot of questions to ask. You know, my brain is kind of like, you know, bubbling.
Yeah, no, go. That's what we're here for.
Yeah, when you did that, to me, it doesn't mind if you doesn't matter if you had a contract or not.
Contract?
Yeah, like when you using content.
Oh, yes.
If there was something that was signed or anything, that's not a problem to me. My question is, did that teach you that in the future, before you work on something with somebody, there should be something like either it's oral contract or maybe written down? Did that give you that lesson? Or
yeah, you know, that's I like that you said that. That was definitely where a turning point in my career where I was like, okay, I need to, I don't want this to happen again. Yeah. So I need to make sure when I'm working with people, the communication is crystal clear. Yeah. Otherwise, you can have that, you know, consistently happen again, right? So yeah, from that point on, you know, never had it. Thankfully, never had my account deleted, never had any infringement. If I ever forgot to tag someone, they just, you know, nudge me, hey, can you tag me? And yeah, you know, that's the thing. It's all about respect at the end of the day when you work with people. If you show them respect, they're going to show you respect. But as an artist, as a business, make sure you got things in paper, you know, make sure there's some sort of agreement, because realistically, people are out to take advantage of you, you know, especially if you're in a position of power. They're going to try and take,
Because most musicians, there's kind of like this culture, when you start music, you don't want to talk about contract.
Yeah.
When they tell you like, oh no, we need to agree on how we're going to work on this, like you just like you shy away, you know. I don't want to talk about contract. You feel like you've been robbed and things like that. But this is for your protection, right?
Yeah. I feel like with a lot of the times, it's not even about the protection, but a lot of artists think they're not even there yet, right? They think they're like, because, you know, I know producers who just give away beats and they don't really have contracts and things like that because they're not at a level where they think a lot of things are coming, right? But that's when the turning point happens, is when, you know, I've seen friends who have worked with beat producers, no contract, send them beats, but then a song will blow up and then suddenly the whole relationship changes. Suddenly I want a percentage. Suddenly now this and this and this, right?
And that's the reason why I came back to that.
Yeah.
Because
you forgot about me.
Because, you know, only time can tell if we were real friends, you know. Time can tell.
100%.
When we meet for the first time, everybody's excited, you know. You see the talent, I'm playing music, and you also have a talent. This is Samson, he can rap, he is this. Now we come together. Yeah. But only time can tell if we can work together.
Yes.
Imagine if I make the beat, you know, in my laptop, and I just give it to you because I feel like you should be the one on the beat. And then the beat just go viral, like, you know, it becomes a hit. You will be on the phone 24 hours. You don't have time for me anymore, right?
Yeah.
If there was nothing that was written.
Yeah.
Because we shouldn't forget that there's what we call A producers, and then there's B, there's C, like the classes.
Yeah.
Now, when you make a hit, automatically you jump to the A producers. You start working with big people in the industry.
Yeah.
Now you won't remember your ghetto guy.
That's, you know.
They will blame you for no reason. That's the reason why I was asking you if you feel like it's important that we have a contract. So that even when I walk away from you, I should be free to do that because, you know, it's my career anyways.
Yeah, I feel like as artists, that's I wouldn't say number one, get your music figured out. Yeah, it should be number one before you even enter into the music because realistically, you're going to start working with beat producers. You're going to start working with engineers, you know. Right now, I believe it's, Diddy, he's facing... he's having some issues. One of the issues is that his producer, an engineer, so someone who is just kind of doing the mixing and mastering, he didn't feel like he got paid enough, right? There was no contract, so now legally he can dispute that because there's nothing, they could agree on this, they could agree on that, but there's no documentation, right? So as artists, if you really are serious about doing this as like a career and not a hobby, if you're just putting things out on SoundCloud, okay, fine. But when you take it to the next level and you're actually investing in your first music video, putting it, having DistroKid, CD Baby, whatever, TuneCore, whatever it is, take the time to go on YouTube, Google what contracts, how to understand contracts as an artist, go through the fine print. Because even when you go on BeatStars, they send you a contract. Yeah. You know, if you're just clicking upset and you send it and then you do things, because if you lease a beat, I've known artists who have leased a beat, but then the song goes to a certain progression and the lease only is about like for example, if you buy a beat, maybe they say you can release the song up to 30,000 streams, then you know type of thing. And then that's the thing. That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. Yeah.
That's how a lot of so many artists, whether it's we've all seen NWA, right?
Yeah.
You know, that's where it all started. Yeah. That's where realistically, as artists, we should have known. Okay, these guys are willing to take advantage of us. We should learn contracts. Ice Cube and all of them, they were young. Yeah. They didn't know they didn't care to look at. They were just seeing the money come through. But then when
100%.
things started getting serious, that they realized that the money that we're receiving isn't what the fan, it's not making sense. It takes it to the next level. And bro, friendships can be broken up because of 100%. Contract. Business can be messed up. Yeah. Music can just be destroyed. Careers.
You got the point. Bro.
There was, I heard something about Lil Baby. So Lil Baby,
that went crazy.
Yeah, you heard it. Lil Baby, he tried to finesse the label. So he had a contract with them, and essentially, from what I understand, he had like a term with them, and then the music that he recorded whilst with them was going to belong to them, and then he would get his royalties and stuff. But how he tried to finesse the label is because the label, he didn't divulge to the label his actual age. And so because his actual age at the time was like 16 or 17, it voided the whole contract. So he ended up getting to keep his masters. And he was like, I'm going to keep my masters, fuck Warner Music. I'm going to go to Universal and see what's popping. But because Warner Music and Universal, they obviously share contact, he wanted Universal, and they're like, no, you just finessed Warner. Why would we try and mess with you? Yeah. So he tried to do it himself. He tried to like be on an independent vibe. That wasn't working. A few years later, he goes back to Warner. He's like, yo, you guys can have it. Just, get me some business type of thing, So contracts, please, guys. Contracts.
Very important, man. That's 100%.
You don't want to be fighting for your bread,
100% true, man. And obviously, a lot of people. This is a really good topic, by the way. That was a really good topic, by the way. And a lot of people know. Some people might know. Some people might not know. But Samson actually founded an event called Afro Beach Van, and I wanted to dive a little more into that. But I also, speaking of that, I also know there's a page in Vancouver called Black Vancouver. There's a page about that.
Yeah.
And
Which do you want to hit up first? What topic?
let's does Afro Beach band does it promote artists in Vancouver, or is it more type of getting together, growing your page, or is it do Black Vancouver also promote? How's that? Yeah.
So, like you're talking about like Black Vancouver.
Black Vancouver, the page, yeah.
Okay, so how do I begin this? So essentially, Afro Beach Van is a concept that I've kind of had for a few years, but didn't really know how to go about it, right?
Okay.
So in Edmonton, I have this good friend of mine is Ivan. He has this company called La Connectional. He's a Cameroon Francophone guy, and there was this one year where he had an African showcase and was bringing local artists in the city to come perform. One of my homeboys, Top Boy Lexus, now in Toronto, was asked to perform, and so I messaged Ivan. I was like, "Yo, can I perform? We have a song together to do, right?" So when I went to this La Connectional event, I was seeing, like, don't get it twisted, I've always had like a lot of African friends, but it was the first time where I saw like all my people in one room, So I went, I was like, wow, people are really showing up. So it was my inspiration, and I kind of like, I was looking at how everything was going, and I'm like, okay, let me just sit on it for a few years and see how things go, right? So then I moved to Vancouver, and it was during the COVID time, and just from the get-go, because I moved with a bunch of my Nigerians, my Nigerian friends and one Cameroon guy, and we were just realizing instantly where all the Africans. It's so hard to, because we were in New West, right?
Yep.
It was so hard to figure out, especially during COVID, what was going on. And then on top of that too, I was kind of like, yo, I want to get into the show scene. I want to get booked for shows, but it's like the climate seems kind of hard and things like that. So it was hard for me to navigate that, right? So there was this one show that I got booked by the ice cream truck. We did it underneath the skate park by it's downtown. There's a skate park that's like by the stadium.
I think I saw some visuals on that.
Yeah.
That's
So
dope.
I did a performance, and I have this one song. I have Dirty Diana, but there was Irresistible. Man, it's been a minute. Irresistible. So Irresistible was my first attempt at doing like Afro beats type of vibe.
Yeah.
And when I performed that track, man, it was crazy, because apart from, I was the only kind of rapper Afro beat artist in the lineup.
Yeah.
Everyone else was like rock, folk music and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So when I went on and I did that song, the reaction was crazy. Like, the reaction was, everyone was going, wow, this is something different. We haven't heard this kind of vibe, right? So immediately after my performance, I talked to my buddy David Ochang, and I was just like, yo, should I start an Afro beats company? Like, do you think, like, because the thing with it is I was seeing so much for the rock community, the EDM community. The EDM community is so heavy in Vancouver, right? And me not being an EDM artist, I was feeling like left out of place. And I felt like, hey, there's barely hip hop. There's not really Afro beats. Like, there's a space that needs to be filled, right? So I talked to Dave, and I'm like, yo, should I start an Afrobeats company? And he's like, yo, that's a good idea. And so I went to my mentor, Jarrett Lopez, and I'm like, yo, should I start an Afrobeats company? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I think the first name was like Afrofest or something. And he's like, man, that's played out. There's so many Afrofests. You gotta do something creative, right?
That's crazy.
And so at that time,
Respect.
The ice cream truck was doing pop-ups at Kitsilano. So homeboy would bring his truck on the beach, open it up, bring out like a guitar, live bands and things like that, and just be performing on the beach. I'm like, this is wicked. Imagine if we had Africans on the beach,
right.
you know? So I was like, wait, Africans on the beach? Afro beach. And so my mentor was like, yo, that's brilliant. So this is the interesting part, was my mentor was like, yo, I'm gonna help you out with this project. I'm really excited. So I was like, okay, I could do this because I have this guy backing me, right?
Yeah.
But then I was starting to do the first event, and he's like, man, honestly, I'm so busy. Like, this is something you got to do on your own. And I was just like, man, I got to do this on my own. I'm like, okay, so it's like, let me go to Long McQuaid. Let me rent out some things. Let me hit up some DJs in the community, right? I didn't know anyone. So I messaged everyone. I'm like, yo, I'm doing this pop-up on the beach. You ain't getting paid because I ain't getting paid, you know? That was
That's how you started,
you know? I was like, but there's a potential, you know, let's just come and vibe. So I remember I had like 6 DJs show up.
Wow.
You know, it was unorganized. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't realize I didn't need 6 DJs, you know, and it was just this beautiful thing. We had these 6 DJs come. This one DJ Rockstar took full control of everything.
I know Rockstar.
Yeah, you know, created.
Oh, I know him.
Created a vibe, and then I had this other friend of mine, Faith, came and hosted, and that first time we had must have been 500 to 600 people show up throughout the day, and it was just beautiful to see so many people gather a circle and, you know, come and show support. And on top of even bringing the DJs, I brought artists out because I was going back to what I was telling you back in the day, my business model of bringing out artists who have some credibility and, you know, creating a lineup. So for the first part of Afro Beach, it was always DJs and artists, you know. We'd have I had my friend Kay's pull up, perform. I had my friend Maya come perform. And
I
all
know
these,
Maya too.
Yeah, you know, all those people, you know, all the Ghanaians.
She's a very good singer. You know Maya, right? She did a song with Aman.
Oh yes,
That song we went to Hip Hop BC, right?
Yeah.
I produced that song.
Really? Oh, that's
I did. I did produce that song.
It was beautiful to see, one, it was on the beach. 2, local artists come perform and have other people support. And because of the fact that I was bringing in local DJs, local artists, people were talking about it. It started creating a buzz, right? Unfortunately, the issue that started to happen was I created this dope platform that certain individuals thought that they could take advantage of, in the sense of not even take advantage of, but I stopped doing. So there was a period of time where I was heavy on the artist showcase. I branded myself originally as Afro Beach before we even started everything as Vancouver's #1 African showcase. That wasn't something that was given to me. That's something that I manifest, because I'm a strong believer in manifestation. Correct. If you put an energy out there, it's going to happen, right?
Sure.
So I was bringing all these artists, but what ended up happening was my platform was growing and the artists were kind of just staying at this level, in the sense of they were getting too comfortable with my growth and weren't putting in the effort that it takes to be an artist. Showing up for sound check. That's that to this day is my biggest irritation from any artist. If you can't show up for a sound check, you ain't serious. I'm sorry, you ain't serious. Because realistically,
and it's very important too.
How are you gonna come perform and then your mic's messing up, or you don't even know the volumes, and then I've had artists not show up for sound check, perform, and then there are certain things that go wrong, and they complain on me, and I'm just looking at them yo, you're the one that showed up. Not even you didn't even not only did you miss your sound check, you showed up 30 minutes late for your own performance. Oh my gosh. And then you're coming to me saying, "Oh, yo, I want to perform now because all the crowd is here. I don't want to perform."
Always do that.
Yeah.
Yo, put me on now. Put me on now.
So it got to a point I'm like, nah, I gotta reevaluate how I do this, because it was draining to me. It started it took the company down because people started less and less showing up, and it wasn't even because it was a repetitive vibe. People would message me and be like, bro, these artists' performance aren't good. And it's not that the artists aren't good, it's they're not taking the shit seriously. They're just coming in wasted, wavy, high, smoking, and things like that. And don't get it twisted. I smoke, I drink, but I still have to keep a professionalism. It's just like when you go to a 9 to 5, you could smoke and drink, but when you're at that 9 to 5, you better get real.
Get
You know?
Better get your work done, though. Wow.
So that's and it's crazy because everyone talks about, you know, local art. People don't support their local artists. People don't support. Vancouver doesn't support. And I hear that even in Edmonton, we don't support it. How can the people support you guys if you ain't taking your shit seriously? How do you expect someone to take you seriously if you ain't even taking yourself seriously?
That's the truth.
You know, and it's just
I hear that a lot. Vancouver people are not supporting.
No, Vancouver
What are you
support.
doing to be supported?
Yeah, that's true. They can't just find you there. Oh, let me support that guy if you're not. doing anything
And every
about
time
it.
you come out, you mess up. So how can
That's
they
a
support
lie.
you?
That's such cap. It's like you telling me Vancouver ain't supporting. Then how's Boston? You know, how is Boston there? You're telling me Vancouver supports. It's just you have to take a certain initiative.
For sure.
Wow.
You know, you really have to take
That's
that
crazy.
initiative to be like, yo, this ain't just a hobby. This is a career. This is something I want to do, you know? And that's the thing. It takes like 5 seconds for me to look at an artist and I'll be like, all right, okay, this guy wants to do it, or this guy's just playing around, you know? It's...
And is the Afro Beach still going, or is it?
Yeah, we're going strong, you know? We're coming 3 years now, you know? So,
Very nice.
when I originally started, it was me, Faith, and Rockstar. We were going to the beaches. We started on the beach just doing free shows, but what ended up happening was my pockets was just getting drained, you know, because it was all self-funded.
Exactly,
I wasn't getting grants. I wasn't getting anything. It was
But
something
you gotta look into that though.
Oh yeah. Now
sure,
now that we're really serious with the
Good.
business, you know, we taking those steps. But
Very good.
back in those days, it was really just something to do to network with people, put myself out there as a person. But realistically too, it's funny because I notice how you're like, you might know or you might not know, you know, because Afro Beach, I've tried to make it in a way that it's its own brand. You know, only the people who need to know that I'm running that shit. Otherwise, everyone else just, you know, the longest time they were thinking Faith run it, you know, or even maybe Rockstar because he's DJing all the time, right? And I liked it because it kept the curiosity, just like Black Vancouver, right? For the longest time, people didn't know.
They know,
You know, and that was another thing when it comes to Black Vancouver. One of the first things that also encouraged me to step into the Afro world was that Black Vancouver at that time, the BML thing was going on, right?
Right on, yeah.
So at Cole Harbor, they were having this thing where everyone was like, you're pretty much explaining your experience with racism and things like that, right? So I hadn't done any public speaking. I didn't know what I was doing, but for some reason I was like, yeah, you know, as a person that's trying to make music, let me go and do this. So I went, you know, spoke about my experience. And that when I was seeing all these Africans that were in Vancouver come together for this, you know, worthy cause, BML, that told me, I was like, okay, there's Africans in Vancouver, right? And the issue is that there weren't any safe places or comfortable places for them to go to. So I was like, how do I add to that? Let me make a safe place. Let me make a place that not only Africans can come and enjoy themselves and their cultures, Caucasians, Asians, Filipinos, they could come and see what we're about and enjoy too.
100%.
You know?
100%.
It's crazy. There's been so many beach shows where it's just been a bunch of Caucasians dancing and enjoying, and then the Africans come in and everyone is like, so when it's like, some people are like, Afro Beach Van, it's only for Black. No, it's for everyone.
Everybody. But that's what I'm saying too, because it brings out a lot, because I know for sure Vancouver has some Afrobeat artists, for sure. And the fact that you created that, you founded that, it's just so beautiful now. Because now you people now be like, okay, we got somewhere to be to show exactly what we got going on. You know,
exactly.
That's why I'm like very, very supportive about it, and that's why I kind of twisted to ask about Black Vancouver. Do you think, are they promoting the artists as well? It is something they do.
So Black Vancouver is interesting. Everyone's, you know, it's on the top of everyone's mind. Black Vancouver's initial intent was good. When they were doing the Black Lives Matter movement,
That was dope.
everything was dope. Like I really, really messed with the message and everything was going. But what had happened, as with everything, people started forgetting. People it's not even forgetting there are other issues in the world that people started caring more about, right?
Yeah.
So it became this, okay, you know, we gave you Africans recognition, you know, like don't riot type of thing, you know? So at that point, I feel like with even a lot of pages, you have to figure out, okay, we have all this following. How do we turn it in a way that's kind of, we keep the consistency and keep their interest. Now at that time you have Six Buzz going on. What they were doing, memes, right? So I know for a fact that they were trying to go for a $6 type of thing, a type of vibe. But originally they're trying to do like, they wanted to do a $6 thing, but cater it to Africans and blacks, right? But what ended up happening is it turned into so much of a mean page, so much of a like, we're calling out every single Karen. It completely forgot about where its roots were from, right?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Now, in terms of artists, there's been points and times. Like, Black Vancouver has promoted me. You know, I actually, like, in that sense, I had a lot of respect for them because, again, I was an outsider coming in, and they're like, yo, you're here now, so you're one of us. Yeah. So they were promoting, they have in the past promoted artists, but not as heavy as I think they could have. But at the same time, you got to realize with the climate of social media, people get very bored of seeing their local artists, right? Like if Black Vancouver was just, oh, you know, we have SAMSON Brown, we have we have this person, we have this person, we have this person. People are gonna be like, yo, I don't even care. I just want, you know. So that's where the conflict was with Black Vancouver. Okay. It was because when they were posting artists, attention wasn't going there like the average memes, right? Even Six was, you don't see them post that many artists. When they do, the attention is going down very, very small. Like people are even commenting, why are you posting this artist? We want to see some memes, right? So with Black Vancouver, I know the narrative that's out there, but it's like, you guys asked Black Vancouver to do this. You know, and not physically ask them, but with the way you engage with their content. You guys engaged more with the memes than the supporting of artists. So naturally they're going to follow that, right? You can't hate on that. Now, in terms of, like, it's just so hard because...
But the name now, should the name stay Black Vancouver? You know
no, Black Vancouver doesn't even exist. Oh. Yeah, look up the page for weeks now.
You don't do that?
Yeah, it's and this is the second time that's happened. And that's because, again, it's just like, you know, when you when you don't stand on your community's principles or you're not representing the community to the best of your ability, they're going to come at you. You know, and that's what's happening right now. They're coming at Black Vancouver. And it's crazy. The crazy thing about it is this company is owned by a Toronto man's.
Oh, really?
That's the crazy thing.
Wow. I should have man. Like,
you know, so it's like that on its own just creates so much problems because but it makes sense because I've never seen anything like this come out of Vancouver. I've seen shit like Six Buzz come out of Toronto, many pages, and it makes sense that someone from Toronto came, you know, built it up and moved, you know, it's wild, man. It's wild.
So many things going on.
It's wild, bro.
My goodness.
Samson, listening to you talking, I have two questions for you. Personal. Who named you Samson? It looks like they knew that you're going to be the returning of the Samson, the Bible Samson.
That's me. So when I was younger, my dad was very encouraged. He's a very, very religious guy. He was very encouraging me to read the Bible, you know? And particularly one story that always stood out to me was the book of story of Samson, you know, specifically around Delilah's betrayal, right? Now, it's crazy because I've always seen myself as someone who's very, very strong, but sometimes has a weakness when it comes to women, right?
So you are waiting for the Delilah.
You know, so that was definitely, I decided, I was like, yeah, I want to be a strong leader in music, and I want to recreate the story of Samson because I was like, I don't want to be destroyed by a female, right? And even, when I was younger, I always grew out my hair. I always had the afro, so everyone I felt like it fit for me and it just made sense. And the more I talked to people and I was like, Samson, because originally, guys, Samuel is my government. Samuel. Actually, Nana Sapo, my Ghana name.
Wow.
And no one's ever even heard Nana Sapo. So you guys are getting that exclusive.
Afrodiaspo family. You heard that? You heard that? Come on now. Come on. Hey, I gotta give you. Come on, man. Respect.
That was beautiful, man.
That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
So I felt like Samuel, it's a cool name, but it's very much the only people that call me that is my parents.
Okay.
I don't really let to my parents, maybe a few close friends from way back and then, but otherwise it's either Samson, or SB, or Samson Brown. If you want to say the full name, say Samson Brown.
Wow.
This is really amazing.
Just like a pimp named Slickback.
Should I go to the second question?
I want the second question because I had one more, but go on the second question, man. Okay. So you see how you turn up this place, but we were expecting that. We knew if you bring Samson Brown to the show, we're gonna have a lot to talk about, man. Because what you're doing right now is 100% what Vancouver needs, what all your fans around the world needs, bro. Because you gotta keep pushing it, because your talent is unreal, bro. And we're not even close to talk about that yet. We're about to bring you for part 2. Major, sorry, go ahead, man.
So there's a song by Tupac called "Dear Mama."
Yes,
you know the song, right?
Yes, Dear Mama.
Cool. There's another song too by Eminem called "Cleaning Out My Closet."
Okay,
you know the song too, right?
Yeah.
So if you were to be the writer of one of these songs, which one would you write for your parents?
Oh, Dear Mama.
Dear Mama. So you're so proud of your parents. Can you describe a bit like why you feel like Dear Mama would be the perfect than Cleaning Out My Closet?
No. I mean, Dear Mama.
Clean it out, man.
Dear Mama for me speaks like, I ain't gonna go too deep into why it speaks because it's still like we ain't there yet in the career, But my mom has always been someone that I looked up to. My dad, I always looked up to him, but he was more of a mentor than a role model, if that makes sense.
Your dad or your mom?
My mom. My mom was more. My mom was more of a mentor than a role model, right?
Okay.
When I say mentor, it's not even that she taught me like, hey, Sam, this is how you spell A, this is how you spell B.
Cool.
That's not it at all. Is that there was a lot of things in life that she did, I wouldn't say a lot of mistakes, but a lot of trials and tribulations that she went through that me as a person, I got to see and learn and grow from, not to make the same mistakes. And Dear Mama, to me, speaks more because it's like, as like you're literally coming out of the womb. You're the embodiment of her. As much as your dad put in the work, you're really coming out of your mom, right? So there's always gonna be this like bond that's gonna surpass everything, right? Sure. And when it comes to my mom, like there's so like if it wasn't for my mom, I probably wouldn't be making music.
Wow.
And that's a crazy thing.
Man, that's right there.
Yeah.
Let's see, you heard that?
Man, that relates to you, eh?
Oh, for sure. 100%. 100%. Cool. And there's which brings me to there's one of your songs recently released called Mama Told Me. I wanted to know what's behind that. Is there anything inspired you to write that? That's gotta be your mama too.
That's that's the thing. So Mama Told Me was something that kind of like the production of the whole EP was never like I never started writing and being like, oh, I'm gonna write this tape named Mama Told Me. I wrote all these songs as singles, and then when I was kind of like going through and trying to put a project together, I put this project together and I realized that a lot of the messages were the same. And it's like, Mama Told Me is like straight up Mama told me, you know, a lot of things your parents teach you or tell you, and you're so stubborn, you're so young, so naive, you ain't listening to. But a lot of the things, whether my mom physically went through it or she told me, hey, Sam, avoid this, you know, watch out the friends you hang out with. Mama told me, you know, there's so many trials and tribulations that I've personally have went through that I could have avoided had I listened to my mama, right? And when you go to the cover of the album, the cover is a bunch of crows leaving the like a dead tree, right? I saw that. The message behind there is like awakeness, the startleness, because all the crows are startled, they leave. And it's like the realization that no, if we're sitting around on this dead tree, we just go and turn up like the tree. We need to fly, spread our wings. Mama told me.
Wow.
Bro. I think I'm done with this. I think we should end there.
You're the real deal, bro. But yo,
wow.
Like you said, when you come here, man, we just have, because we are very, very proud of everything you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Like we see you post constantly, like going out there with your music, traveling. You know what I'm saying? And it makes nothing but make us proud, bro. And you're leading the way for a lot of people, even the ones who are getting started right now. They will look up to what you're doing, your story and how the path you went through. So huge props for that, man. Huge props for that. Major, I don't know if you have anything to add, man. We are running out of time a lot.
I think I'm done. I'm just going to ask one favor from Samson.
Yeah.
Publicly, would you support us to have your mentor on the show?
Oh, to have my mentor on the show?
Yeah.
So crazy thing is, he going to be back from Mexico in a few weeks. I would love to bring him onto the show.
That would be cool. Yeah. Would you also get us some of the members of the Vancouver Afro Beach?
Yeah, Afro Beach.
Yeah.
You know, like that was DJ Rockstar. If he comes in, I have a lot to ask him because oh man, that guy. Oh man.
Oh yeah. I was gonna ask you who should we invite, man. Do you know any? Because man, you just blessed us with a lot of good stuff today, man. And we appreciate you for showing up here, man. Just taking your time, come on here, man. And
I mean,
it means a lot, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of there are a lot of talented people in the city, you know. Yeah. Definitely so many people I could recommend. Like I was like Jarrett, you know, my homie Roscoe who did Shio Saturdays. Yeah. I would love to have him. I would be there for that.
Roscoe will kill it, man. The first time I met him, I don't even think he remembers me. But when I met him, you know, he was like, oh man, you play piano, because I was playing piano. Yeah. He's like, do you have some songs? I was like, I can be playing your music. You know, I was like, I do gospel though. He's like, that's not a problem. I can play gospel. I'll kill him. He's a very good guy.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
Shout out to Roscoe.
Yeah, shout out.
Shout out to Roscoe, man. But man, we're about to just close out here. But I just want to give you your time, man, your opportunity to just give a shout out there, man, to people to keep streaming your music, where they can find you. So for those who don't know where to find you yet, man, just let them know, man. Let them know what's about. And your upcoming projects too, as well.
Oh yeah, so we got so much coming out on the tunnel. We have another Spanish song coming out in a few months now. We're working on an Afrobeat song with my homie AMG Armani. Yo, this one, you have to have AMG Armani here. This guy is crazy. Wow. We're one of the number one artists in Ghana right now. And I got a song with him, you know?
We need you.
Yeah, we got AMG Armani on a song. We have I'm really going to be dabbling into the Afro beats this year. So stay tuned for that. You know, I've been working on Afro Beach for such a long time, and I was like, yo, it's time to actually come out as an artist again and show them that, you know, we really mean business, you know? So
you need to, bro.
Yeah.
And I think I told you that before, too. When I saw you last time at the Burning Boy, I'm like, yo, you need to be there, man.
Yo, facts.
Your level's up there. 100%. You gotta go for it.
100%. We got Rubik's of a World out now. Go stream that. It's vibey, you know. Shout out to Muse to Amuse. She made the cover. It's lit. We just a lot of visuals coming out. 724 just came out on YouTube. Go check that out. It's vibey. Shout out to Emmanuel who shot it. He's out in Toronto, so hit him up if you need video work. I'm right now with my boy Luke. We're working on some visuals for the AMG Armani song, so it's gonna get crazy, guys. like, stay tuned. A lot of visuals. I hadn't dropped a music video for about a year or two because it's really figuring out how I want to brand myself and put myself out there. But now that we kind of got things sorted, you guys are going to see a lot more of SB, so stay tuned and get ready.
Wow.
You heard it here, man. Look, Samson came out here, man, and just enlightened us with all some crazy, nice advice for all the local artists out there, man. This is where to be at. Make sure you listen to this guy because she's been through all. So, and I really do appreciate you for showing up here, man, and just sharing us. Yeah, of course. Go ahead, man.
Make sure to follow Afrodiaspo.
Thank you. Thank you.
We got to close the show right there. Man, thank you so much for tuning in, man. I'm your host, Baraka, man. We got Major right here on my right side and the one and only SB Samson.
Let's go.
You know what I'm saying? Go get it, man. Let's go. Thank you guys for tuning in.